garden of shadows.
Hi my angels, it's Hailey, Reese, and for today's video I am super excited because this is a paranormal case and a haunted location that I've wanted to talk about and share with you guys for quite some time now, and that is the Bellaire house. I know it might seem like I've been gone for so long and like I'm not as interested in creating content, but it's actually the polar opposite, you guys. I've been wanting to upload 5 to 7 videos a week for a while now. It's what satisfies me the most. I love creating content, I love posting content, and so in order for me to have 5 to 7 top quality videos a week for you guys, I took about a week-ish, maybe a little more off to get all of the videos that I wanted to do in order, figure out what needs to be researched, and get back in action for you guys so that you have new videos to watch every single day. So thank you so much for all of your patience, but we are back. I should also say, I was planning to be back yesterday, however, I filmed the entire video, you guys, only to import the files and realize that the microphone that I used to film with had completely died and there was zero audio to any of it. So out of my frustrations, I decided to sleep on it, get back here, film it again, because all I needed was a little time to get like re-excited. And so here we are, finally talking about a very spooky paranormal case. Today, like I said, we are going to be talking about the Bellaire house, which interestingly and freakily enough is actually more often referred to as the Bellaire demon house. The Bellaire demon house is known by many to be the home of what some believe to be evil, but overall darkness. And hidden in those walls is such a darkness that very few are able to stay for long at all. So what exactly is this home? Why is there said demonic forces in it? Which spirits occupy it and what made it the way it is? That is what we're about to get on into. So sit back, relax, maybe turn a light on. Maybe. And let's get into the Bellaire demon house. So it all started with a man by the name of Jacob Hetherington. Now, Jacob Hetherington actually owned coal mines in the Ohio Valley and built the Bellaire house with his trusted mule, Jack. Now, an interesting fact about this is that the nursery rhyme, "The House That Jack Built," is actually thought to have been created based off of Jack building the Bellaire house. Now, this is where Jacob Hetherington would reside with his family, and the house was actually positioned on top of coal mine number 1. Now, this is where it gets super interesting, you guys. This particular home was said to be built in front of a Native American burial cave, or Native American burial caves. And even more interesting, the house sits on top of ley lines. Now, ley lines are unseen connecting important physical and spiritual markers for ancient cultures. So, between the Native American burial caves behind the home and the ley lines that it was positioned on top of, it was really no wonder that this home was kind of a spiritual marker. Now, Jacob's son, Alex Hetherington, was actually documented to have been checked into a lunatic asylum due to loss of manners and a failing business, which I can presume would be a very difficult time. And while that's not any bit of correlation to the hauntings in the house, it kind of sets a tone that there was some sort of struggles going on within the home as well. Now, Jacob Hetherington would pass away in 1904, and the house would actually be passed down to his granddaughter, which was the daughter of his son, Alex Hetherington, Eliza Hetherington, who actually went by Lyle Hetherington. Now, in 1947, Lyle Hetherington would suffer a heart attack in the living room of the home, and she is said to have died in the living room of that home. Here's where things take the real dark turn. Now, Lyle had a brother named Edwin, and Edwin was so distraught by the death of Lyle that he began reaching out to psychics and mediums and started performing within the home rituals and seances in an attempt to contact his deceased sister. Now, it's thought that in doing so, he opened up portals in that home that he was unable to close. Now, it's not too unlikely that a portal will be able to be opened, considering that just behind the home, like I said, was the Native American burial caves, and the house was positioned on a spiritual marker. It was positioned on ley lines. So that, combined with his desperation to communicate with his sister, could have brought forward other things as well, and many people believe that it did. Now, Edwin Hetherington passed away in 1962, and after that, the home was passed on from owner to owner, tenant to tenant, and nobody would stay in the house for long whatsoever until it eventually just became abandoned. Now, during this time, one thing that's really important to note is that while the home lay abandoned, many locals would continuously see shadows and humanoid figures walking in the property, although they all chopped it up to, oh, teenagers have broken into the abandoned space or people are exploring the abandoned space, and never thought that perhaps it might be something much darker going on. With that being said though, many locals had a very uneasy feeling about the property. It was one of those places that you didn't really want to look at when you were passing by, and you just felt this overall sense of something not being right. And that's where it takes us in to Kristen Lee. Now in 2005, Kristen Lee would purchase the home at a foreclosure sale for just $46,000. Now, she'd never heard of the home before. She was unfamiliar with the history of the home, but she just lost her home to a flash flood. So to get such a great deal on a property, she felt like it was almost too good to be true and couldn't understand why she'd gotten such a great deal on the home. Now, it's also important to say that while things may have immediately started to begin in the house, Kristen is a trained psychologist, so she was continuously trying to find a logical or reasonable explanation for anything that was occurring in the home, and was continuously chalking it up to excuses like, I must be overtired, I must be seeing things, I must be really stressed, I'm unfamiliar with the home. And there was always, for the beginning there, some sort of an excuse or a logical explanation to what she'd been experiencing in the home. Her first paranormal experience in the home was when she was sleeping on the couch one night. She awoke to a man standing in the room, and she looked at him and began questioning him as to who he was and what he was doing in there. And when she began to question him, he kind of walked away and disappeared into thin air. And that was when the room went so cold she could literally see her breath. And she even questioned, number one, her sanity, but also if she'd really seen somebody. Like, it was so real to her. It was kind of around this time that Kristen started to question whether or not there was something more going on, as she'd seen that man, but she was also hearing footsteps in the attic, footsteps in general, hearing voices, things were going missing, just strange things were happening. But it wasn't until whatever was in that home turned violent that she realized something much darker was going on. It wasn't until Kristen's dog, Bella, was actually picked up by unforeseen forces and slammed against the wall, and Kristen was held down by these unseen forces as well, that she realized this was getting stronger, and this was really violent. This wasn't a kind spirit. This was a spirit that had the ability to pick her dog up and slam it against the wall and pin her down. So at this point, she realized she wanted nothing more to do with the home, and even attempted to file bankruptcy to get rid of the home. Kristen would try everything to get rid of this house. She would have tenants, but each tenant's stay would be very short-lived, as they too would be experiencing not only odd happenings and paranormal activity, but what seemed to be bad luck that even involved death in some instances. So nobody would stay long in the home. She could not hold a tenant, and she did not want the property. She even tried to sell the house back to the city for $1, and the city actually wound up refusing because they'd taken note that none of the locals wanted anything to do with the house, that all of the locals were very uneasy about the spirits in the home, and so they refused to purchase the home back for $1, thus making the home pretty unsellable, and Kristen was stuck with the home still in 2010. So who are these spirits that are known in the home? Now that we kind of have the history of the home, who resides in there? And is there really a demon? Now, there's a lot of people that believe that there are multiple spirits in this home, and some are more popular than others, and we'll get into that in a moment, but there's certain people who believe that this home isn't really home to spirits at all. It's home to demonic entities. It's home to a demonic energy that can manifest itself as a man or a child or whatever you want to perceive or they want to show themselves as, but it's something much more, while others believe that it could very well just be spirits within the home. The most popular go by the name of Emily Davis. Now, there's kind of a misconception surrounding Emily Davis. Some believe, including Kristen, I believe, that Emily Davis is that of a little girl, while others believe that it's a much older spirit. Others believe that there's two of them, that there's a little Emily Davis and an older Emily Davis. And the older Emily Davis is said to lure people towards windows in an attempt to push them out. Now, it is thought that when people go in to investigate this home, the spirits will use the name Emily Davis to trick investigators into not knowing who they're communicating with or what they're communicating with. It's also rumored that a young Emily Davis used to play within the attic of the home and actually knew the Hetheringtons, and that now she resides up in that room. And they actually have the room in the home still, and they call it Emily's room. So they believe that it is, in fact, Emily's room, but whether or not Emily is a child or Emily is an older spirit or there's multiple Emilys is kind of unknown. There's just an Emily Davis in the home. Now, the basement is another place that is supposedly home to darkness. And another thing that I should really note as well is even while people have attempted to remove darkness from the home, it always finds its way back in. It's kind of this constant cycle, like that home will just never be cleared. That home is the home of that entity or those entities. These spirits are dark, violent, and some even deemed, like I mentioned, demonic. And it's actually said that when you set foot within that home, you should never speak about your family, your loved ones, your pets, anything to do with your life, because they are so evil, they will utilize it as leverage. Now, Kristen Lee actually wrote a book in 2013 about her experiences within the home, and it was titled 1699 Belmont Street, A Portal to Hell. She actually has a second book in the works right now as well that's going to go into more detail and have more information about the Hetheringtons. Today, the home is actually still owned by Kristen Lee and is open to tourists to come and explore and investigate. So that leads me to my next question. Do you guys want me to go to the Bellaire demon house? I'm kind of on the fence about it because on one hand, it's so fascinating to me, it's intriguing, and it really makes me want to go and experience it for myself. But on the other hand, these spirits are known to be violent. However, I would definitely take the proper precautions, and so if you guys want me to go to the Bellaire demon house, let me know in the comments below. But that is essentially an overview of what that home is. It's not unlikely to me that seances and rituals may have opened up a portal. A lot of people also say that there was a lot of coal mine explosions and that perhaps there could be spirits from that, or the spirits are coming from the Native American burial grounds. But nonetheless, there is definitely something going on in the Bellaire house, and I guess we'll never truly know what really lives within those walls. Well, you guys, that is it for today's video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I've wanted to talk about the Bellaire Demon House for quite some time now, so I'm excited that I finally did. Like I let you guys know in the beginning half of this video, I'm going to be uploading 5 to 7 videos a week now, and I'm prepped for it. This is happening, no ifs, ands, or buts. So if you're new to my channel, make sure you go ahead and click that subscribe button, and please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness, and until next time, I love you guys.